Hello, everyone. Welcome back, and we'll continue with the chapter Deep Waters. So, let me start it from where I left you yesterday. So, let's begin it. I flailed at the surface of the water, swallowed, and choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. So, his nose and eyes could come out of water, but his mouth was still under it. Desperate to come out, he swung his arms, his hands around about, and tried to twist his legs. In the process, he swallowed because there was a struggle going on. So in the process, he swallowed water. He was breathless. He tried to take in air, but here again this time he swallowed some more water. So he was gasping for water. Then I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. He tried so that he could get his legs up on the surface of water, could float flat on it, but legs hung like dead weights, paralyzed, without movement, and rigid, firm. A great force was pulling me under. I screamed, but only the water heard me. Now the force water was pulling him down, and he tried to scream, but remember, his mouth was not out of water, so he could not scream, but he tried to do so. But as he couldn't do this, so his voice couldn't be heard by anyone. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool, and then the long journey again started to the bottom of the pool. Why long journey? Because it seemed as the journey was 90 feet long. So here it is said, this is called a deep or long journey. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in nightmare fights, an irresistible force. Okay, I had lost all my breath. Okay, so again he was striking at the water. He was hitting at the water, hitting water with his hands, with his legs, in his struggle, in his attempt to come out and not go down, in the process expanding, consuming, using up all the strength, all the stamina, all the power that was there left in the body, as if one does in a nightmare fights. In a nightmare fight, in a bad dream, when you find yourself up against a demon, and the demon is, say, trying to kill you, and you try to protect yourself, and there you use all your strength to try your hard in the same process, in the same way he too tried his everything to remain afloat, but nothing happened. He used up all his energy, all his strength, and now he was out of breath. He lost all his breath. My lungs ached and my heart throbbed. I was getting dizzy. So as he lost all the breath, so naturally he was losing consciousness. His heart was aching. His lung was aching. His lung was paining now. Heart was throbbing, was beating strongly, and he was getting dizzy and he was losing consciousness. But I remember this strategy. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms and thrust with my legs. And then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe. So, as everything was going against him, he was losing consciousness and body, everything, all the organs were showing signs of strain. He remembers still the little energy that was left in the body. He was saying, don't forget and remember this strategy, that is hitting the bottom with all the strength, with all the power, and come out onto the surface like a cork, and then strike with hands and thrust with legs and come to the edge of the pool and be safe. That was the strategy, and his mind was constantly reminding him, giving him the reminder. I went down endlessly. I opened my eyes, nothing but water with a yellow glow, dark water that one could not see through. So he continued to go down, and it was endless. It seemed that there was no end to it. He opened eyes, and there was nothing but yellow glow that could be seen, and then that was getting dark. And one could not see through. That is darkness, and the darkness he cannot see, and he could not see anything. And then sheer stark terror seized me. Terror that knows no understanding, terror that knows no control, terror that no one can understand who has not experienced it. So, here, at this moment, as he was getting dizzy, losing consciousness, losing all his strength, there at that situation, that position, terror seized him. He was frightened because the body was not supporting him, was not supporting, and his struggle the body had lost the energy, the stamina, so the terror seized him. And this terror, according to the writer, according to the author, this terror could only be understood by one who had experienced this. I was shrieking underwater. I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid with fear. And he was shrieking that he was crying, he was calling for help, but again, this was within him only, and then even the screams in my throat was frozen. Even that had frozen. Even he could not give a call to my mind that he needs to shout. Even that was not happening now. Only my heart. And the pounding in my head said that I was still alive. So only two things reminded him that he was still alive. That was the head and the heart. Since there was still some kind of activity, still some kind of movement there, and that's why it reminded him that he was still alive. Otherwise, the body was not supporting. The body would not doing sufficient in his struggle. And then, in the midst of the terror, came a touch of reason. I must remember to jump. When I hit the bottom, at last I felt the tile under me, My toes reached out as if to grab them. I jumped with everything I had, and then he just got this reminder. He just got uh, this message from the mind, that is, remember to jump. That is to remember to jump as he hit the bottom, or as he touched the bottom. Uh, he should hit it hard with all his strength and come out onto the surface. So he did the same. He used all the strength that was left in the body to jump. But the jump made no difference. The water was still around me. I looked for ropes, ladders, water wings, nothing but water. A mass of yellow water held me. So, as he hit the bottom hard with all his strength, he started to come up. But the jump made no difference. That is, the jump was still having the same result, coming up very slowly. So he thought of grabbing something solid like a rope, or like some other thing solid like some water wing ladder, but there was nothing. As there was nothing, so he could not get to hold anything. He held just water. A mass of yellow water held him. Only there was yellow water. Stark terror took an even deeper hold on me. Now he was even more terrified by this. Like a great charge of electricity, I shook and trembled with fright. My arms wouldn't move, my legs wouldn't move. So he was terrified, and he just shook. His body shook as if there was an electric charge running through his body. He shook, his tremble, and he did all this due to fright. But the thing is, the arms didn't move, the legs didn't move at all. I tried to call for help, to call for mother. Nothing happened. He tried to call everyone, call for help, call for some help, call for mother, but nothing happened at all. And then, strangely, there was light. I was coming out of the awful yellow water. At last, my eyes were. My nose was almost out too. Then, strangely, as he was struggling, as he was hopeless, he had reached hopelessness, and terror had seized him completely, he came onto the surface. That is, his eyes appeared, his nose appeared, that is, they emerged out of water. So this is this much for now.